The Unseen Anatomy of Reading. Hello everyone, and welcome back. If you've plugged in your headphones, taken that first sip of your coffee, or perhaps reached the quietest stretch of your walking route, you are in the perfect place. Today, I want to dissect a topic that I've been contemplating for quite some time. It's an act that might seem deceptively familiar, perhaps even a bit cliché at first glance, but as you delve deeper, you realize it's something that reshapes the outermost and innermost corners of the human mind and soul, the act of reading. However, I am not here today to lecture you with didactic, platitudinous advice like, reading is highly beneficial, you should read 20 pages a day. Today, we are going beyond the pages. We are going to explore the invisible, sophisticated anatomy of reading, how it functions like a neurological architect, reconstructing our personal growth from scratch. We'll discuss how this silent, inward journey of human beings has transformed into the most potent form of resistance against the relentless noise of the modern world. Speaking of the modern world, let us begin with a reality check. We are currently living in an era characterized by an almost pathological obsession with speed. We are navigating a time where attention spans have dwindled to a mere few seconds, and information is mindlessly consumed and discarded like fast food, rather than being profoundly digested. Infinite scrolls, push notifications, instantaneous videos, our brains are under a perpetual bombardment of dopamine. It is precisely at this juncture that opening a book and immersing oneself in it becomes an intellectual rebellion against the zeitgeist. Because reading, by its very nature, demands deceleration, profound focus, and commitment. In psychology, there is a concept known as cognitive patience. It is the ability to follow long or multi-layered narratives and to assimilate a writer's arguments step by step. When a person regularly engages with high-quality literature, they are essentially training their prefrontal cortex, the epicenter of focus, decision-making, and willpower. This cultivates a form of mental muscle memory that a mind nourished solely by superficial snippets of information can never attain. A well-read individual becomes resilient against manipulation because instead of judging an event merely by its headline, they possess the stamina and the cognitive tools to seek the underlying causal links. But does reading simply make us smarter? No, it does something far more profound, it makes us more human. And the most mesmerizing mechanism behind this is the cultivation of empathy. Literature grants us an unprecedented passport to enter the minds of people we will never encounter in our lifetime, allowing us to feel their agonies, their dilemmas, and their triumphs within our own chest. What do you think happens in our brains when we are navigating a moral dilemma alongside a Dostoevsky character, or viewing the world through the eyes of a refugee, a woman, or a philosopher who lived centuries ago? Neuroscientific studies reveal that when we read about a character's experience, the exact same networks in our brain are stimulated as if we were experiencing it firsthand. In other words, the brain does not entirely differentiate between fiction and lived reality. Do you realize what this implies? Reading is, in the most literal sense, a simulation center. A human life consists of a single lifetime, bound by undeniable limitations. Yet, through sublime literature and biographies, you can live thousands of different lives and learn from thousands of distinct mistakes. A well-read person cannot remain a captive of a single dogma. They understand that the world is not merely black and white, but rather possesses a magnificent spectrum of gray nuances. And this, right here, is the pinnacle of personal development, cognitive flexibility, tolerance, and intellectual humility. Now, let's pivot to a more pragmatic dimension, one that directly touches our daily lives, language and articulate expression. Mastering communication at a high level is not merely about pronouncing words correctly. It is about capturing the subtle nuances between thoughts, deploying metaphors cleverly, and articulating intricate ideas with crystalline clarity. Words are the ultimate boundaries of our universe. Let us recall Ludwig Wittgenstein's famous aphorism, "The limits of my language mean the limits of my world." An individual with a truncated vocabulary experiences emotions and thoughts in an equally truncated manner. If one lacks the linguistic richness to articulate anger, melancholy, or profound admiration, their reactions inevitably become primitive and monotonous. Books provide us with a lexicon for those abstract feelings that we previously couldn't name. Think about those epiphany moments when you read a line and thought, yes, that is exactly what I felt, but could never put into words. In that exact moment, the author handed you a key to unlock your own self-awareness. This self-discovery yields the greatest charisma a person can possess, whether speaking before an audience, defending an idea in a boardroom, or managing a crisis in interpersonal relationships, rhetorical power and intellectual gravitas. Up to this point, we have primarily discussed cognitive enhancement and functionality. But human beings are not entities driven solely by logic. We have an intricate inner world, plagued by perpetual existential anxieties. In the chaotic hustle of life, we sometimes lose our bearings and find ourselves caught in a vortex of meaninglessness. In those precise moments, books serve as personal sanctuaries. The catharsis, the emotional release and purification that you might seek in a psychotherapist's session can sometimes be found within the margins of a philosophy book or in a single line of poetry. Reading rescues us from isolation. But the isolation I am referring to here is not the physical absence of people, it is the isolation of feeling misunderstood. When an individual believes their suffering is entirely unique to them, they experience a profound sense of alienation. But then, one day, you read the diary of an author who lived 300 years before you, and you discover that they traversed the exact same dark tunnel and tasted the exact same fears. In that moment, you realize you are part of a timeless, universal tapestry of human experience. This realization bestows upon an individual a magnificent inner tranquility and psychological resilience. To encapsulate everything we've discussed today, my dear listeners, personal development is not comprised of the hollow, commodified formulas sold on the market today, promising wealth if you just follow these 5 steps. Authentic personal growth is about confronting your own ignorance, challenging your mind with new philosophical inquiries daily, and ultimately evolving into a more refined, just, and empathetic version of who you were yesterday. Books are neither a luxury tool for this transformation nor a nostalgic relic of the past. They are the compasses that expand the contours of our minds, jolting us out of the comfort zones of conventional thinking and guiding us along the rugged yet mesmerizing paths of truth. As I close today's episode, I want to leave you with a small question. When was the last time you completely muted your notifications, forgot the passage of time, and truly lost yourself in the universe of a book? If it has been too long, perhaps today is the perfect occasion to reopen those slightly rusted mental gates, and gift yourself a moment of cognitive patience and depth. Thank you for listening and for sharing this silent journey with me. I look forward to meeting you in the next episode, as we explore another labyrinth of the mind. Take care of yourselves, stay in the light of the pages, and goodbye for now.